Hello. Hi. As always, Sunny Bonani Dumalang Huya on afternoon. Bon dia. Welcome to episode 64. So, yes, magical human, if this is your first time here, halala, I promise to break your virginity oh so gently. And yes, if this message here now today resonates, then be sure to check out some of my other messages. This is episode 64, like I just mentioned. So there may be at least one that perhaps speaks to the essence and magic that is you. So in the spirit of today, I've arrived with nothing necessarily prepared. And I thought we could have a little bit of fun since it is a magic Monday of me posting this episode, and pull from my fabulous little hand-designed, handwritten doodle deck that just always give some really interesting and poignant and really topical messages, at least for me, perhaps for you too. And yes, tomorrow I'll be embarking on my quarterly fast. So every quarter at the change of every season, in sync with my moon cycle, I usually embark on a 3 to a 6 day water only fast. So tomorrow I'll be beginning my 108-hour water only fast. And it will be the first time that I'll be documenting or vlogging subsequently, or since I've started this little journey mid probably to late January since I started it. So yeah, I thought it would be a nice and interesting way for me to document this daily ritual and this daily discipline and practice that I'll be embarking on for the next 4.5 days. So let's see what messages want to reveal themselves today, shall we? What message? Let's just pull one message, shall we? Let's not make it too long and too debaucherous. If another message just accidentally pops out, then that's fair. But let's just go with one. I have added a few more little wonderful messages to this ever-growing deck that I'm creating. And hey, who knows? I've just launched a art therapy or mindfulness doodle and coloring in book that's available on Amazon. So if you come across this message, be sure to check it out under Monica De Silva. So that's Monica with a C and a big D for D-A, and then Silva, S-I-L-V-A. So just pop in my name and you'll see that there's a mindfulness and coloring doodle book that's available. I'll be making a special little video all about that when I get my beautifully sticky and creative hands on the book that I've created. But as fate would have it, the only space and place and country that it's not available in yet is South Africa. So I've got either family coming or people going overseas that have been willing and kind enough to let me know that they will bring me at least a couple of copies so that I can have my own personal one and also share it with some special folks and peeps on this side of the world until it's accessible and available in South Africa. But yes, let's see what messages want to come out, shall we? Let's perhaps think of a number. So a number between 1 to 125. Give you some time. Give me some time. Just let that number literally go bloop, into your subconscious. 88. That's what's arriving for me, at least. Let's see what wants to come out with 88. And also see if we've actually ever pulled this before. Oh, beautiful. Okay. So today's message, beautiful number 88. So this is the doodle design behind it. Some of you are probably thinking, wow, she's a real shit artist, because that's just like my child could do that. Yes, it's for the child in you. It's exactly what they are. They're very playful and whimsical doodles. Some are far more aesthetically involved and detailed, and artistic, I guess, is what some people would say. And some are just so simple and playful and innocent. And I think there's as much, if not more, beauty in the latter as the former. So yes, magical human. I'm actually going to see what this drawing speaks to first, and then I'm going to read the corresponding message. When I designed these cards, I first illustrated the pictures, and then I randomly just placed whatever message I was going through with the picture. There was no thought around the picture and the message going together. I left all that up to the Almighty Creator, and I thought, hey, let's just have some fun with this and see what innately wants to come out with a little bit of play and spontaneity, you know? Yeah. If I'm just looking at this picture, I see that there is a beautiful little typical home that every single child draws, you know, the good old box first, the triangle on the top, and then you get a little braver and you extend and make that house bigger. So it's very innocent and it's very childlike, but it's definitely offers this aspect and element of a real home, filled with so much love and nourishment and adventure and journeying and joy. And there's a beautiful tree on the side that's got delicious fruit, and the sun is shining, and there's a beautiful warm cozy fire that's brewing on the inside, and I can only imagine that there's the most delicious and nourishing food that's being cooked inside as well by loving hands. And there's a few little speckles of clouds that are popping through, but all in all, the sky is relatively clear, perhaps just one or two very prominent thoughts that are coming. And there's just three gorgeous little flowers that are in between the two little alleyways that take you to either door of the house, either the front door or the back door. And I guess those little flowers are speaking and representing to me that there were some seeds that were planted a couple of seasons ago, maybe even, and they are only now just beginning to pop and bloom above the ground. So yes, let's see what the message wants to reveal, shall we? So the message reads, perhaps you don't need healing. Perhaps you need activation. Oh, that's beautiful. That actually gave me little goosies. So for the last couple of years, if you haven't seen any of my stories up until now, I've been embarking and really going through a transformational journey in my own world, in my own life, through so many spheres and pillars and domains of my world: career, financial, home, family, relationships. I mean, like, just put them all in there. Just let's throw them all. God was like, no, man, why go with one? Let's just give this girl all of them. You know what I mean? She's got stamina, she's got endurance, she's got focus and discipline. Let's just give it all at the same time, because, you know, that's what's required. And for the last couple of years, I really do feel like I've actively embarked on this sound check healing journey. And we are always healing. You know, there's always something that we are working through or delving deeper into. You know, when you start to think that you've just spiraled out, something draws you back in. When you think you've just taken those 3 steps forward, there's going to be something that brings you 2 or 1 step back, so that you can reflect, introspect, look at it from a different angle and lens. So there will always be that aspect and element. But I really do love and so resonate with this aspect of saying perhaps you need activation. And I feel that I'm really being called to take all of these beautiful gifts that I've acquired and that have revealed and presented themselves to me over these last couple of years into the world out there. So for the last 7 to 8, almost 9 years, I've really been doing some kind of introspection and going within the chrysalis of my cocoon and becoming all smushy and dissolving all those aspects and identities that I thought I was, and creating something very new and what I feel very transformational and perhaps more in alignment with the essence of who I really and truly am and what I'm here to bring and offer to this world with my own gifts and with my own magic and je ne sais quoi, you know. So yes, the last couple of years have definitely been about healing, but we can't be healing forever. You know, we can't wake up every single day and feel like all we're doing is healing, because then it almost feels like there's always something wrong with us. If you've caught that episode, you'll know exactly what I mean. Apologies, the wind's just kind of like taking my goods all over the place. I'm wanting to play a little bit, you know. So yes, we can't be healing all the time. Like we really can't. Yes, like maybe, you know, like I said, healing's always taking place, and sometimes we play more of an active part. But I really feel like I'm being called to activate and step into and share and illuminate and create and play and breathe and move and step into something more out there through in here. And I'm so excited for that because I'm not even sure what that actually looks like, you know. I've had these ideas and I've had these, I guess, dreams that come into my awareness. And it's been so interesting to see where life has been guiding me and taking me. And it's been fascinating to see the type of people that are coming into my space and place and being part of this embodiment practice and journey that I feel that I'm innately being called to be a part of, almost like an embodiment movement of some kind. And yes, I really feel that that's the potential activation that I'm going to be embarking on. And it's so interesting because the old me would have needed a strategy. The old me would have needed, you know, all the bullet points. You know, I used to be very involved in market research, and there was always like the aim, you know, the business aim and the project aim. And then subsequent to the main aim, there were always other aims that needed to be met or other priorities that also needed to be explored or uncovered. And as much as that's useful and worthwhile, because, you know, sometimes we need direction, otherwise we're just like wandering aimlessly. I feel like this new juncture and this new activation that I'm being asked to potentially step into is a little bit more bespoke, a little bit more creative, a little bit more spontaneous and being present in the here now and seeing what feedback you get before you can provide kind of the next step. So it's a little bit of an unfamiliar territory for me, to be honest with you, but I feel that's what I'm being called to potentially be part of. And this number 88 The number 88 is 16, which adds up to 7, I guess, lucky number 7. And all the associations that go with the number 7, but more specifically 8 and 8. And it's kind of like the infinite possibilities, prosperity, abundance, working with a higher form of consciousness and divinity, and making that the essence and grounding aspect, which brings me back to what I am activating on. So less external and more internal. And that's a whole new territory. And it's so fascinating and interesting. And I don't even know if life's going to take me there yet. But for the last couple of years, I really have been so fixated on stepping into the world of spirituality and only dealing with people who are spiritual and people who are enlightened and people who are of higher consciousness and people who are walking the journey and people who are really endeavoring to better themselves, and people who are connected with God or source or something grand. And yes, I definitely still believe those things, and some of it does resonate, and I hold it to be true. But as of late, it's been so fascinating and interesting because I feel this belief or this, I'm going to call it a belief and stick with the belief because I really feel that that's where it came from, to becoming a little less important. And I see it as becoming something that is more an indoctrination or just another psyop or just another almost like, if you just think about so many of the people that we used to put on the pedestals, so many spiritual leaders who we used to really revel at, and we see so much shadow around so many of those people coming to the forefront of our awareness right now. And it's not only in, the world out there of celebrities. I've experienced this in my own life. And I've come to realize that the people and the situations and the spaces and places where I experienced the greatest degree of like hardship and heartache and cracking open of the heart was within those elevated, enlightened spaces in ways that I never thought I would experience. And it's really illuminated and shed some light on my thinking. And it's definitely rocked the boat, so to speak, around my beliefs within that aspect and element and sphere. We might see someone pitching up looking all so spiritual and so in their magic and essence, and they might have feathers and a hat, and the ayahuasca is still seeping from their skins and they've just come off this retreat and they've just done this kukuwawa ceremony and done whatever, and you so expect to sit down with this magical being and be able to exchange and share, just speak about just life and just have so much fun and just be in the playfulness and the innocence that is banter and conversation and reveling in this human communication. And it's so interesting because, as much as we often think that that's where we're going to get those conversations going, because it's almost like perhaps it's a safer space because we think that we're higher and we're more enlightened if we are associating with those people than, the common riffraff below us who isn't wearing the hat and who hasn't even heard of bloody ayahuasca, you know what I mean? Or the Holy Trinity or the Holy Grail or any of those things, or the Sophia Circle or all those wondrous things. And please, I'm not mocking any of those things. Please know this. I am just challenging the aspect and element that we come here to share space and energy with all aspects and all dimensions and all colors and hues and personalities. And if we always just associating with the same type of people, we won't experience these rich and diverse and unique little glimmers of magic and pearls of wisdom and wonder, and hear stories from people who have completely different journeys and who see life through completely different lenses, and have their own magical stories and experiences to share that exceed and reside outside of the healing journey, but perhaps step into more of an aspect and element of being actively part of this world. And yes, I guess I am being called to perhaps step back in there. And perhaps I haven't done it sooner. And I'm suddenly getting very emotional as I think about this, because I do feel that there was a time in my life where I wasn't strong enough and I did need some really serious healing. My body was telling me I needed some healing. And I feel that like my angels and my guides are like, girl, you're focused, you're disciplined, you're ready. Okay, we still need to like work on a couple of elements and aspects, but it's okay. The activation will be where you refine and tweak and continue to just work on certain more key zones and elements. But it's time to step in, and it's time to really breathe, and it's time to soak in that full inhalation and feel the grace and peace and ease to exhale the fullness of the breath. And, it's time for us to move freely, playfully, creatively, and step into our creative abilities. And yes, play like children so that we can come up with these inspired ideas and these creative activations and transformative strategies. So I'm so grateful for this card because it really does speak to the essence of my soul. And I'm just looking at the timer for the first time since I started hudding on, and it's like 23:30, and I'm like, holy shit, I've been speaking about one card for like almost half an hour. A magical being, I think that is a sign from Kronos, the god of time, that I bid you adieu in this here, now, present moment. And if you're really keen and interested to follow me on the next couple of days on my journey as I document my water fast, you're more than welcome to tap in and download or do whatever you need to do. But as always, continue to sow those seeds, allow for the flow of life to find and guide you so that you may ultimately grow, illuminate, and glow. Until tomorrow's episode 65, stay delicious, keep shining, and keep some peace in your heart.